Hello. Lately, I started to pay attention to all sorts of messages about how people's minds work. What kind of strategies to use to do that and the other to make people, react or respond in a particular way. All kind of studies, surveys are quoted, in which it was discovered that so much, so that percentage of people responded in a particular way if some conditions are present, stuff like this. But I have a feeling about it. I cannot prove it, but I have a feeling about it. And that is those studies that right now, no, they ran, let's say, this year or 5 years ago, and that showed that people tend to respond in a particular manner to a particular commercial or to a particular line or marketing message, stuff like this. Now, I tend to believe that the same line, the same marketing message 200 years ago, it would have gotten a different result from the population. And the same study 200 years from now, we're going to get a different response yet from the population. So what does it mean? What do I mean by that? Well, my feeling is that what we measure today, what we go outside and take a survey and collect as being an evidence of sorts, that actually shows the way we created ourselves to be, the way we created ourselves to react or to respond unconsciously to certain stimuli. Which stimuli, for instance, which didn't exist 200 years ago, population had no way to respond in a particular way. Or 200 years from now, those stimuli would be different. So obviously the population will going to respond differently. What do I mean by that? Is that those results that we collect as scientific evidences, per se, actually, they are not universal. We weren't created, as human beings to respond in that way. Human's mind didn't respond that way, millions of years ago when human beings appear on Earth. But we created ourselves in this way, so today we respond this way. So those studies do not show a universal way for the human beings to be, but rather the way we created ourselves over time through the experiences, collective experiences that we put out in this space, the culture, the influences from nature and so forth, the way we responded to those influences. So we created ourselves. In other words, what we observe, actually we tend to create. It's not only that we observe something which is out there, because it's nothing really out there, it's still us. So we observe, and what we observe we tend to create. And what I'm suggesting to you, instead of just taking a passive position in which you just observe what the cultural tendencies show you, so when you observe that you create more of the same, I'm trying to encourage you to take responsibility and observe the reality that you see the way you want it to be. So if what we observe, actually we tend to create more of that, why don't we just tend to observe or deliberately observe what we want to create? If I want to create a world where people are happy, why I'm not just focusing towards the things which are conducive to make me happy? Have you noticed that when you're pissed off, you tend to get more proofs that you're entitled and you're right to be pissed off? If you tend to spill your coffee on your shirt before going to work, don't you find that actually you hit your elbow on the elevator, something's wrong with the car, maybe a bulb, you just discovered it is burnt. Maybe you notice that some people are rude to you in this way. So whatever you start to observe, you start to create more of the same, for your mind wants to keep coherence of what you believe. And in the same way, when you just wake up happy, you just wake up with with a high spirit, you tend to look around you and see all kinds of things to confirm that actually you're entitled to be happy. You tend to see faces smiling to you, things going the way you want it to unfold. So in this respect, I'm trying to give you some arguments, if you wish, to start to notice that actually we create what we observe. So, and that, if that is true, I have no proof to give you, but if that is true, that will be a good belief to have, as a matter of fact, put it this way. It will be a good belief to have. And if I'm holding this belief that I tend to create more of what I choose to observe, why don't I just observe life the way I want it to be? I want to observe life as, people are friends among each other. So why don't I just tend to observe signs of friendship from people around me instead of focusing on the things, that will cause me to feel otherwise? Because whatever you choose to focus, you're going to find evidences for that. I'm sure you noticed that by now. So this message is to give you liberty, to allow yourself to just choose what to observe in life. If you want to have a good day, focus on the things that will be conducive to that. Oh, look, I have this coffee. I have a nice breakfast. I just read something interesting on Facebook, or whatever it is. Whatever it is. So that's my message for today. Choose to observe it the way you want to create it. Take good care. Try it out. See what happens. Bye for now.